Today on Land Beat, we're going to be talking about mid-story management with some of the most simple tools you can find: hatchet and a bottle of herbicide. Mid-story management is a quick and easy way to improve the diversity of your forest, improve the habitat, and make your farm more suitable for wildlife. This is something that I think gets neglected, and I'm not sure why, because it's so easy to do. And I'm talking specifically here in Western Illinois, a spot that's had a little bit of overstory removal through timber harvesting. It's had some bedding thickets cut in. You can see the sunlight back behind me. There's been very little management around the timber on the rest of the property until today. If you look around, you can see some large trees, specifically large oaks. There's been some walnuts harvested, some oaks harvested, but there's still a lot of shade. Just for example, I'm going to reference the sunny spot back there where there was a major reduction of the overstory and midstory, and we're looking for a huge flush of vegetation in the understory that's providing cover and forage for deer and turkeys. But you look around, you still see a lot of shade. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sun's beaming down, bluebird day, but we're still in the shade. This is a southeast facing slope. There should be an adequate amount of sunlight here, but the midstory is really full of undesirable species for whitetail deer and wild turkey, which is the landowner's goals here. So we're doing a mid-story reduction with the tool of hack and squirt. Hack and squirt is a simple tool, very effective. Using a sharp hatchet, we're cutting a few inches into the tree, opening up the bark into the cambium layer and putting in some herbicide, and we're gonna kill these trees standing. And the big benefit to that is we're getting new sunlight down to the forest floor that hasn't been reached here in a while, other than in the middle of the winter. And we're not cluttering up the understory with debris by cutting all these trees down and littering them across the forest floor. With all this work, we're going to move through this area very quickly. Austin and I running 2 hatchets and herbicide, and we're able to do multiple acres in a day. Even within an hour, we're going to be able to cover this whole southeast facing slope with a couple hours and probably 2 tanks of herbicide. So it's very effective, and following up with prescribed fire next winter, this is going to be completely different than it is now, benefiting the wildlife from cover and forage. So for landowners that have goals for turkeys and deer, this is a very effective tool if you're managing the midstory. The reason for this is we get a whole new flush of growth that's providing nesting cover, or if we burn it, we can create brood rearing cover with still plenty of vegetation attracting insects for those young broods. But ultimately, if we were managing specifically for deer, we would see a lot of guys come in and cut these trees and leave them lay, and that's going to be a detriment to the usability of the turkey. So mid-story management with hack and squirt benefits not only deer, but also turkeys most importantly. We're going to quickly talk about species. You need to identify the species that you want versus the species that you need to remove. A lot of times just trying to take a quick inventory will help you understand whether or not you need to remove these species or promote these species. And so this is an upland site, oak hickory forest historically, but the midstory is chock full of hackberry, hickory, mulberry, and Osage orange. So we're going to try to remove a lot of these hackberries, knock the hickories back, not get rid of them, and set everything back to try to promote oak and younger hickories to create a healthier forest. Because if you look at the forest in 3 layers, overstory, midstory, understory, it's oak hickory, a little bit of walnut for the overstory, it's hackberry, Osage orange, a little bit of oak, and hickory for the midstory, and the understory is almost non-existent of oaks. So for the future of this, we want more oaks, so we need sunlight and prescribed fire. We have to remove a lot of the midstory because we already mentioned there was a forest reduction. A logging operation came in here, so a little bit of the overstory has been removed, but the midstory hasn't been touched, so we're going to change that today. We're going to specifically target species like this hackberry. As you look around, it's going to be lots and lots of hackberry filling this this midstory and understory. Rule of thumb: 1 hack per 3 inches diameter at breast height. I tend to err more on the side of giving it more hacks than less. So in a 4-incher, I'm going to hit it 2 times. And I like to hit it and peel at the same time. So when I hit, I try to peel down. That opens up that cambium layer in the bark so I can really get that herbicide in, and kind of roll it out like that. Then I give it a little squirt of herbicide. I try not to build up too much pressure in my herbicide tank so it doesn't shoot out really hard. It just kind of squirts out a little bit. And that tree will be dead. By this time next year, we'll have tons of sunlight reaching the forest floor.